Tonight you will sleep in a building, 4 walls, a roof, a door that locks, a temperature you can control. You have never once thought about how extraordinary this is, because for 95% of human history, there were no buildings, no walls, no doors, no roof that someone built specifically to be over your head. And yet your ancestors not only survived, they thrived. They raised children. They developed language, art, music, and medicine. They populated every continent on Earth without a single house. Stay with me, because what they did instead is not the story of deprivation you might expect. Most people imagine ancient humans without houses as constantly cold, constantly wet, constantly miserable. Wrong. Let's start with the most fundamental truth about ancient human shelter. Your body is a shelter. A healthy adult human generates approximately 80 watts of heat continuously. That is roughly equivalent to an incandescent light bulb burning constantly inside your chest. In group conditions, multiple bodies sharing a small enclosed space, that heat accumulates rapidly. Ancient humans understood this without understanding biology. They slept together, not occasionally, as a survival strategy. A group of 10 humans sleeping in close contact generates enough body heat to raise the temperature of a small enclosed space by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius above the outside temperature. No fuel required, no fire needed, just bodies. And bodies were just the beginning. The oldest known human-constructed shelters date to approximately 400,000 years ago. Simple oval structures made of branches, stones arranged in circles to anchor them, and organic material for cover, found in France, in Japan, in southern Africa. These were not accidents. They were engineered solutions. Someone observed that branches could be bent and anchored, that overlapping materials shed water, that a circular shape with a low entrance conserved heat more effectively than any other configuration. These people were not builders in the way we think of builders, but they were solving the same problem builders solve. How do you create a stable, warm, dry environment in conditions that are naturally unstable, cold, and wet? But here is what most people miss entirely. Ancient humans did not need to build most of the time because the Earth is full of structures that already exist. Caves, rock overhangs, dense forest canopy, riverbanks with natural hollows, fallen trees that create windbreaks, ridge lines that block prevailing winds, south-facing slopes that collect solar heat. The ancient human relationship with landscape was not the relationship of someone looking for somewhere to build. It was the relationship of someone reading a landscape for shelter that already existed. This is a skill that has almost completely disappeared from modern human cognition. The ability to look at terrain and immediately identify its thermal properties, its wind exposure, its drainage patterns, its natural windbreaks. A skilled ancient human moving through unfamiliar landscape could identify a suitable overnight shelter in minutes, not because they were extraordinary, because they had spent their entire lives learning to read the land the way modern humans read a map. Now, fire. Fire changes the shelter equation so fundamentally that it is almost impossible to overstate. A small fire in an enclosed space does not just provide warmth. It dries the air. It repels insects. It keeps predators at a distance. It provides light that extends the productive hours of the day. And it creates a social focal point, a gathering place that structures group activity and communication. The earliest controlled use of fire in enclosed spaces dates to at least 300,000 years ago, but fire use in general is documented significantly earlier. By the time anatomically modern humans appeared, fire management was an ancient and sophisticated technology. Ancient humans did not sleep in the cold. They slept in firelit spaces that were warm, dry, and protected. The shelter and the fire worked together as a system. And then there was the material that made all of it work in cold climates: animal skin. A single large animal hide, properly processed, worn, or used as ground covering, changes the survivability of cold conditions by an order of magnitude. The insulation properties of animal fur and leather are extraordinary. Arctic survival research has documented that a person wrapped in appropriate animal hide can maintain core body temperature in conditions well below freezing with minimal fire. Ancient humans in cold climates were not freezing. They were wearing their shelters. And here is the thing that should completely change how you think about all of this. Ancient humans were not trying to be comfortable in the way modern humans define comfort. They were not cold because they were comparing themselves to a heated room. They were not wet because they were comparing themselves to a waterproof building. Their baseline was the outside world, and their standard for shelter was not luxury. It was just enough better than the outside to survive and rest. That threshold is much lower than most modern people imagine, and ancient humans hit it reliably, using materials that were always available, techniques that required no specialized tools, and a reading of the natural landscape that was second nature to to every person in the group. The house did not make humans safer. It made humans comfortable at a level that was previously impossible. The safety was already there, built into the group, built into the fire, built into the landscape reading ability that took hundreds of thousands of years to develop, and built into the bodies sleeping close together in the dark, generating 80 watts each, warming the air, keeping each other alive. You still have that body. You just stopped needing it. If you want to know, you know what to do.